right, we are coming on now. Here are the tunes. You have a great show.
All right, thanks.
A pleasure.
I am free. Thank God I am free. I am.
This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Ladies, this is the show that's here to give you stories of hope and healing from someone who has been there, someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet, in spite of the trauma of her early years, she went on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Plus, she's a virtuous woman who can help you find that woman in your life. Don't let the weight of this world or things that happen to you control your life. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, here is your host, Minister Diane Jones.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, people. How are you? I hope and pray that you are well. I am well. I am blessed. Sometimes I'm not sure if I want to say I'm good when I am going through challenges, but I'll choose words like I'm well or I'm blessed. But I am good. It's all good. It's all good anyhow. Okay. What challenges might I be speaking of? I am back to nursing. Today, I literally just started a temporary assignment. It came up at a time when I absolutely needed it, when I was seeking the Lord and needed it. So I'm so grateful and amazed at how God did it. But I am back to nursing, which means I'm back to commuting. It's just crazy how the most of my assignments are a distance. So I have a 1.5 hour commute one way and another 1.5 hours coming home. So I'm back to doing the 3 hour commute, which makes for a long day. But I'm good. I'm good, y'all. I'm good, y'all, because I needed it. I needed it. Praise you, Jesus. The holidays are coming up. Other things are coming up. I do have exciting things going on in my life that maybe I could tell y'all a little bit more about that later. But I'm good and God is good. So, because I've had a lot going on, I was feeling like even though I haven't been nursing, I have been busy. I keep myself, I am, me and my daughter, we laugh about this. Regardless to what people might try to say about us, we are not slothful. We are not slothful people. Okay. So even when I'm not nursing, I still put in long days. Okay. I still put in at least 12-hour days most of the time. Okay. Just managing ministry, managing life. As a matter of fact, I've been recently asked to do a forward on a book. Oh, I just remembered. I haven't even pulled that out yet. I've got to get on that. So anyway, my schedule. I keep a full schedule. So I actually was feeling like, you know what? I need some downtime. I need some unwind time. So 2 weekends ago, I decided to go and see this movie that I saw being advertised on Facebook. It kept popping up on my Facebook feed. And I treated myself to this movie. And I just wanted to be out. I just wanted to be out, do something carefree, relaxing, fun, just something for fun, for entertainment. But the movie was based on a true story, and it's a story that I can relate to. So that was my other reason for wanting to see this particular movie. I'm particular about the movies that I see because I don't feed myself garbage, okay? I don't feed myself things that are going to offend my Lord or oppress me or open doors in any way. But I went to see this movie 2 weekends ago. And then this past Saturday, I went to a conference. It was called Awake America. And the guest speaker was Michael Yosef. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. I used to listen to him several years back. I used to listen to him a lot on the radio when I was commuting, um, more so in California, and then some when I moved to this area. But I don't listen to my truck or car radio hardly ever anymore. So I just kind of lost touch with him. But he was in this area, the DMV area. He was in DC. So I went to that. So I've been trying to, just kind of feel not alive because I feel alive, but just give myself some entertainment slash something wholesome, good to do. Okay. So back to the movie though. The movie impacted me so much that I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it tonight. I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to incorporate this movie that was based on a true story into my title. Okay? I did this topic back in 2019 was the last time I did this topic. Finding justice in an unjust world. That's when I did part 1, okay, of that particular title. The subject matter was actually the continuation of more topics, which I will get into. But I watched this movie and I looked through my list and I was like, you know what? This fits. This fits because I don't want to give the movie away, but this fits. All right. So let me tell you, we're going to jump in. We're going to jump in so that I don't, lose time. The name of the movie it's called Sarah's Oil. Sarah's Oil. Okay. If you haven't heard about it, I recommend it. As far as I'm concerned, it's a must see. Of course, that's because it's very close to my heart. It's very close to home for me. It was released on November 7th. I wanted to see it on the 7th, but I literally was dealing with too much. I had too much going on that day, so I had to wait until the 8th and go see it. And when I came out of there, I was so impacted that I wanted to turn right back around and go in there and buy another ticket and watch it again back to back. That's how much it impacted me. Okay. It brought me to tears. It made me angry. It re-alerted me. It reminded me in a fresh way of the realities of the evil. Oh my goodness, the evil that people are capable of, that souls are capable of. Okay. It brought it home like, oh my goodness. It made me happy. I felt tears of sadness, but I also felt tears of joy at different parts of it, especially toward the end. So it was very impactful. Okay. The crazy thing, and I do not wish to merely inflame anyone when it comes to race issues. Okay. I don't want to inflame anyone about race issues, because people take that whole issue, in my opinion, to an extreme. They We as a nation have become more divided than we were. I don't know if I should say more. Maybe I shouldn't say more. But I was going to say we've become more divided than we were at the time of this movie, which was based in the story of this woman's life was in the 1900s, the early 1900s. 1907, I believe, is when the character was born. The main character was born. So I can't say we're more divided than we were then, because it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad during that time. But we had made progress. I believe this nation did make progress, and we have overcome a lot. Though I have said previously, especially when I remind you of some of the stories that I've covered, that racism is still alive. It is still alive. That is something that is probably going to occur until Jesus comes back and puts an end to all sin. That's why I say, to me, people have taken it to the extreme. They don't look at it in a spiritual context. They don't look at it the fact that it's a sin issue, and they just perpetuate it and perpetuate it and perpetuate. So that is not my goal in this. But I would be foolish and remiss. It would be improper for me to try to act like racism doesn't exist either. That is not correct. It is not accurate. So when I come back, I'm going to pick this up and get into it more after the break. Okay?
Has the tragic past shattered your future or your now? Don't let it. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. And we'll be right back after these.
Equipping the Saints Ministries. Our mission is to equip and mature the people God calls to do the things they are called to do with confidence and boldness, to create soldiers for the army of the Lord, and to impact our communities. We are home based in Waldorf, Maryland. If you would like more information, you may email us at etsministriesinc@gmail.com or write to us at ETS Post Office Box 72, Waldorf, Maryland 20602. If you are not local, you may participate via conference calls, and we can make information available to you by email. ETS.
Little did I know what was about to grow. A love so pure. Oh, little did I know. How could I know? You are so sure.
The Story of Me is a captivating and inspiring account of a woman able to overcome incest, physical abuse, abandonment, and neglect to find a second chance at happiness. It is a story for those who have been rejected, who have dreamt and fallen short, who have survived traumas such as molestation, rape, or incest. The story of me is very inspirational for those who may find themselves in Jones's story. You may purchase your copy of The Story of Me online at authorhouse.com, this show's host page, amazon.com, or any of the major bookstores. The Story of Me.
Thank God I am free. I am free.
Welcome back to I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet.com. The show dedicated to helping women find their way back to themselves after innocence was stolen by incest and abuse. Helping you heal. It's what we're all about. It's I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, back to your host, Minister Diane Jones.
Okay, so I was telling you about this movie I went to see, and it is called Sarah's Oil, and the movie is about a woman named Sarah who uh, who made it rich, who struck it rich. Is that the right word? Struck it rich because oil was found on her land. Oil was drilled and produced on her land. Okay. Mineral oil, that kind of oil. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. And I was talking about how the movie brought me to tears, how it made me angry, how it reminded me of the realities of evil. There was evil in there on a level that just troubled me. This was my reaction at the theater. But after I came home, before I even got home, I called some of my family. I was telling them about it and telling them that you have got to see this movie because it's our story. It's our family's story. It's our family story. Okay. I've done some series and I've done some shows on this program, on my program. Back in 2017, I shared my family story. If you haven't heard it, you can go and still find all those podcasts. 60 plus years of racism. That's what my family's story was titled, okay? Because in my family's case, my grandfather's sister married into a family known as the Walling family. They changed their name later on, but they were originally the Wallings, and they inherited, or were granted, I should say, granted 1,200 acres. 1,200 acres, like 400 to 3 of the Walling brothers, 400 something each, okay? Each. And it was similar to what happens in the movie. It was because of serving in a war, okay? And my grandfather's sister married into that family and became well known and prominent because of their land being pooled into a unit, which is what is required to drill and So my grandfather inherited mineral interests and royalties because his sister uh, passed and he was her sole heir. And we didn't know anything about any of that. We didn't even grow up with or know our grandfather at all. We ended up in foster care because of the abuses and the things that happened in my life. So we never knew, never met our grandfather. But in 2012, we found out this crazy story that our grandfather, who died, what year? I can't even remember what year he died. Was it in the 70s? No, the 80s. I don't remember what. No, it wasn't the 70s. It was in the, I can't remember what year he died, but he died long before we knew anything about him passing. And we find out in 2012 that me and my siblings inherited mineral interest and royalties and a certain amount of wells, like 16 altogether. 17, I believe 17 altogether. So anyway, I did my story back in 2017, 60 years of racism. And some points I said 60 years of racism continues. One of the other ones I said 60 years of racism comes to an end. But then I also did several other people's stories that I happened to meet. I met them during some court battles with a very prominent oil company concerning our minerals and our this oil company was operating our wells, the wells that we have interest in, I should say, and they were not paying us, and they had no lease on file concerning our minerals to justify how they were paying us when they did start paying us. And it was just a mess. And I ended up in a legal battle with them, representing my family as a pro se. As an attorney, I became an attorney for my family because they ran into some difficulties, supposedly. Don't even get me started. I feel myself getting worked up. Okay, they supposedly ran into some financial difficulty and needed to restructure. Conveniently, after we began to inquire about our mineral interest, and we wanted them to produce the title work, and we wanted them to produce the lease that justified how they were paying us, and they had no lease, and they could not do that. And then next thing you know, they filed for bankruptcy to reorganize. Okay. And they fought us tooth and nail. We won. I won a motion for mediation and settlement. It was crazy because we went to mediation several times. We could not settle because they wanted to gyp us, they wanted to cheat us, they didn't want to fix the lease. It was just crazy. Okay. They ended up pulling some strings, I believe. This is my allegation, because the judge that awarded us the mediation and settlement was very upset, very angry with them because of their back office problem, as he called it, because they had not only done that to me, but some of the other people that I was saying that I met. I met other people during these proceedings, one family after the other. There was hundreds of us. We were mostly people of color. We were from our people were from Louisiana and from Texas, East Texas to be exact. And this was a very messy, scandalous time. 1904, very close to the time of this woman who lived in the movie. She was born 1907, I believe. The deed involved with our Wallings, one of the deeds, this is just one, was dated 1904. Okay, that was one. So I met other families that told the same story over and over and over. But those courts allowed these oil companies to lawyer up when none of us had lawyers, when we couldn't afford lawyers. Maybe I won't say that. I think there was a few families that ended up having attorneys, but they fought us tooth and nail. They fought us and they squashed us even after we went to mediation and settlement. They wouldn't settle, so then they got more expensive lawyers. They were willing to sink God knows how much money. I don't even know how much money into lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers to destroy our claims, to destroy our claims, rather than sink that money into doing what they were required to do by Texas statutes anyway, which was they were the ones who were supposed to have had the title work done in order to extend leases. Okay. They were the ones who were supposed to, whenever they drilled a new well, they were supposed to have title work done and seek out the heirs, seek out the landowners so that they could offer them the proper leases. But they had done none of that. They took over the operation of our wells that we had interest in back in 2000, basically the year 2000, and they drilled, I want to say they drilled 16 of their wells during that time period. And those wells were producing, and it was like the height of production, production during those years. Okay, 2012, and they never did any title work, never did. The statutes required them to do it, but the judges, let me not say that wrong. The one judge who ordered us to go to mediation and settlement was very angry about it. He told them they better settle. He told them they better make it right, but they did not. And then they somehow got rid of that judge, got us a jackleg judge. Shannon is his name, and he's still there in Delaware. And he took the very same evidence and dismissed it all. He didn't care about the facts. He didn't care about the truth. He let these shysters who had jackleg paperwork, affidavits that hadn't been signed by anybody, no title work, he let them prevail. I'm getting upset just talking about it. This is so like the movie. I don't want to give the movie away in case, because I want you to go see it, but this is so like the movie. And family after family got up and testified and argued their cases the same way. You'll see Glenda's story. You'll see Anita's story. You'll hear me talk about Calvin's story within my story. So there was family after family. There was the Donaldsons. I think I mentioned them a few times. There was another man by the name of Phillips, I believe. We ended up started networking with each other. There was Lloyd Ness and his family. Now he was, out of all of us, he was white. He was a white man. But most of us were people of color. But his family, his story wasn't exactly the same as ours. He was still being cheated, but his wasn't quite as bad as ours. Okay. But though that bankruptcy court let the landowners get messed over. Just like in this movie, they tried. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Okay. But you can find those stories if you want to listen to those podcasts. Go back to 2017, then come forward to 2019, Finding Justice in an Unjust World. That was part 1. So I'm going to talk about Sarah's story in more detail after the break and conclude. Her story ended with a good outcome. It ended with a good outcome. I will say that. And I will say that it is possible. This is why I was happy at the end of her story, because it is possible to sometimes find justice in an unjust world. More after the break. Okay.
Has a tragic past shattered your future or your now? Don't let it. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. And we'll be right back after these.
A black nurse. This narrative is about the struggles of being a black woman and a black professional in a society bound with racial and gender bias. She has hopes, dreams, needs, a purpose, and aspirations, but faces constant opposition to fulfilling these basic human requirements. Like so many people of color before her, she achieves some measure of success, but her success is minor compared to what she must do to achieve it. It's time for a change. Get your copy today from authorhouse.com, this show's host page, or any major book retailer like amazon.com. A black nurse.
Little did I know what was about to grow. A love so pure. Oh, little did I know. How could I know? You were so sure. Thank God I am free. I am free.
Welcome back to I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet.com, the show dedicated to helping women find their way back to themselves after innocence was stolen by incest and abuse. Helping you heal. It's what we're all about. It's I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, back to your host, Minister Diane Jones.
Okay, so I am talking about the impact of a movie, Sarah's Oil, the impact that it had on me because of it being so close to home. I told you about one of the battles that me and my family were involved in concerning our mineral interest. But there was two battles that we were involved in actually. And the other one was in East Texas, in Rusk County, Texas, in which, because of the first battle, because of the bankruptcy and all the research that went into that, we discovered that the mineral deed associated with our mineral interest had not been executed properly, that it should have been voided because it appears that our grandfather did not even know about his mineral interest. How or why, I don't know, because we didn't know him. But a locator service, a company called National Locator Service, drafted, did a transaction with him, created a deed, and in doing so, we learned that they took 50% of his minerals interest and royalties at a time when the statute had changed to combat much of the abuse and cheating and frauding and coercion and things that were going on during the time of the oil boom, which is depicted in this movie. It is depicted so graphically in this movie. I'm telling you, it had me upset. It had me upset because this is what happened to our grandfather, okay? This National Locator Service and people like them, this is what they were doing to uneducated people. They were finding out that they had oil or suspecting that they had oil and then cheating them out of it. Okay. The statute had changed almost a year before that, but this oil company cheated him anyway. Took 50% of his mineral interest, which was not permissible if you locate someone's land for them. And we were told different, because as we were trying to understand it all, we were told different possibilities that they were probably trying to find our grandfather in order to create a pooled unit, in order to drill more wells and do something with the pooled unit. And that's how they found him. But then in doing so, they charged him 50% of his mineral interest and royalties, which was not allowed. There were a locator was only allowed to take 10%, I believe it was, of the value of the property that was located. So there was much more that was supposed to happen during that transaction than we found record of. So we started fighting that battle. Also, while we're fighting in Delaware, I filed a lawsuit in Rusk County on behalf of my grandfather, Randolph Parker, and his heirs, which would be my siblings, okay, and won a default judgment. So at one point we were like happy because on one side we got a default judgment, on the other side we got a motion for mediation and settlement. But honey, when they realized, I guess, that we were serious, when they heard about us and the word spread or whatever, honey, they pulled out all the stops. They pulled out all the stops because we got shut down in Delaware. Like I said, we got a crooked judge. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. A crooked judge who saw the facts completely different than the first judge. Okay, and let these shysters, these evil lawyers, cheat us out of what was rightfully ours. And then over in the Rusk County situation, the comptroller, when we won the default judgment, and then we claimed the funds that had been held up for years. There were funds going into an account at the comptrollers because of the mineral interest and because of what this company had done and getting 50% of my grandfather's mineral interest and allotting it to them. There was funds that we now wanted that were rightfully ours. Okay. Well, the comptroller wouldn't release the funds. They wouldn't honor the default judgment. They wouldn't honor the default judgment. They started playing games. You're not the owners, even though the default judgment said that we were. They reclassified us as creditors. So as creditors, we can't release it to you without I don't even remember. It was just roadblocks. Okay. I sued them. I ended up in the wrong court, so I had to sue them again. I had to file multiple claims. I ended up losing because that judge would not honor the default judgment and reclassified us as creditors just because they felt like it. So this is what was going on in this movie. Okay. So let me pull I have my phone ready because I want to tell you this amazing story of this young lady and how she ended up finding justice. Okay. She ended up finding justice. Let me see if I should go. Let me read. This information is coming from Wikipedia, which I haven't used Wikipedia in a long time, but the night that I was stirred up and I was doing research, I just was plugging in the name of the movie, and this is the information that came up. Okay, so Sarah Rector, also known as Sarah Rector Campbell, and Sarah Campbell Crawford, born 1902. That's interesting. So where did I read 1907? Well, Wikipedia says 1902, lived until 1967, was an American oil magnate since childhood. This young lady became one of the wealthiest, richest women of color, Black women in America, okay, at the age of 11. At the age of 11, okay, under the most adverse odds, facing the most wicked oppressors and enemies, okay? Under the Treaty of 1866, due to birthright as a Black grandchild of Greek Indians born before the American Civil War, she received an allotment. It was surprisingly discovered to be oil rich, so it'll tell you later that the allotment was land, okay? It was surprisingly discovered to be oil rich and produced over US 300, equivalent to 10,100 in 2024. So back in the day, it was 300, equivalent to 10,100 in 2024 per day. Per day. So she was known as the richest colored girl in the world. I said the nation, in the world. Okay. Like our story, she was born in Indian Territory. Amongst the Wallings, we did research and we found out that the Indians and the Black folk were intermarrying and living amongst each other without racial issues. Same thing in this story, okay? She was born in Indian Territory, now Taft, Oklahoma. She ended up, because of her wealth and her life changing, going to Tuskegee University. Looks like I'm coming up on another break, so I'll get deeper into this in our last segment, okay?
Has a tragic past shattered your future or your now? Don't let it. This is I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. And we'll be right back after these.
Millions of people are sexually abused each and every day, not just by rape, child molesters, or pedophiles, but by choice and through lifestyle preferences. Who would enjoy being raped again and again? Why is rape spiritual as well as physical? Can a sex offender be healed from abusing others? Find answers to these and other questions in the pages of Overcoming Sexual Abuse by Minister Diane Jones. Available online at authorhouse.com, this show's host page, amazon.com, and any major bookstore. Overcoming Sexual Abuse.
Little did I know what was about to grow.
to I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet.com. The show dedicated to helping women find their way back to themselves after innocence was stolen by incest and abuse. Helping you heal. It's what we're all about. It's I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free on TogiNet. And now, back to your host, Minister Diane Jones.
All right, people, that little clip, snippet of a voice, that was a demo of my single that was released. You can go to my radio show page and you can check it out. You can get it. You can get the whole thing. It's called Missing Your Love. And it's beautiful, I must say. You can get it. Okay. So back to our story. Let's see. Miss Sarah. Her parents were the Black grandchildren of Creek Indians enslaved before the Civil War. Okay. Their ancestors became members of the Muskogee Creek Nation after the Treaty of 1866. As such, they and their descendants were listed as freedmen on the Dawes rolls, and therefore they were entitled to land allotments under the treaty made by the United States with the 5 civilized tribes. So this is how she and her family came to get these land grants. All right. The father was having trouble paying the taxes. And honey, I still have a problem with the fact that we have to pay taxes on our homes. In order to purchase a home, you got to pay taxes, but then you have to continue to pay taxes. Why? It's not right. I don't believe that's godly. I believe that's something that God warned the children of Israel that if they wanted a king, they were going to have to deal with. I don't believe that's God's plan for us. But back to my story. Okay. Her father was having trouble keeping up with the taxes. So he, according to this story, he leased out his daughter's portion of the land. Okay. His daughter was allotted 159.14 acres. So he leased out a portion of her. It says the parcel allotted to Sarah Rector was located in Glenpool, 60 miles from the Rector family home. Its infertile soil was considered unsuitable farming, with better land being reserved for white settlers. So when they gave her and her family this land, they actually didn't think it was good land. They were giving them what they thought was the leftovers. Okay. And look at God. Look at God. Look at God. Hallelujah. The Rector family lived simply, but not in poverty, but they were having trouble keeping up the taxes. So the father leased Sarah's parcel to the Standard Oil Company. Clearly, that was the time that people were discovering oil. Okay. And it goes on to say the independent oil driller Jones sank what became a gusher well with a daily yield of 2,500 barrels of oil. Oh my goodness. That is equivalent to 10,100 in 2024. Okay, of income. Oklahoma law at that time required assignment of well-respected whites to act as guardians for full-blooded Indians, Black adults, and children who were citizens. They didn't think that they can manage such a thing. This little girl was super smart. She was in school. She understood contracts. She was good at math, and she studied all about the oil business before she even got in the oil business. She believed in God. I don't want to tell the whole movie. I'm getting excited. She believed in God. Once she got her land, she was insistent that the Lord told her she had oil on her property, that she had oil on her property, according to the movie. Okay. Wikipedia is not giving you those details. She believed in God. Okay. Because of that, she convinced her father to do his part, to help her get her land leased, to help her, get an oil company to drill, to look for oil. The movie is much more exciting than what Wikipedia is telling. Some of it may be embellished, but she struck oil. They struck oil under serious adversities. Okay. Of course, once she struck oil, then uh, she started facing even more issues and was required to have a guardian, and the NAACP got involved because she was getting cheated, it was, you talk about wickedness, you talk about evil, you talk about how the Lord reminded me of the horrors and how evil people can be. Okay. I know it's personal to me because my family is still dealing with the the fallout from our battles. Okay. But this gave me hope. This gave me hope. It frustrated me in one way and it made me sad in one way. Like I said, I felt all different kinds of things because as of yet, we haven't had this kind of an outcome, but it also inspired me because I believe we can have. I believe if we don't give up, I believe that in the right timing and under the right circumstances, something will give. Something will give. This woman ended up having, like I said, she got nationwide and worldwide recognition. People came to her assistance, the NAACP. This article says people like, what did I see there? Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois. Those were some very prominent names. Okay. They ended up coming to assist her and her family. And she found justice in an unjust world. She found justice. Okay. And that it just stirred me up. It stirred me up and motivated me not to give up, not to give up. Although we hit dead ends, although we hit stumbling blocks, it ain't over. It ain't over till it's over. Okay, so it stirred me up. Okay, if you need hope to continue a battle, because like I said, my battles began in 2012. That's when we first learned about this. The first court bankruptcy situation started in 2015. Then my lawsuit in Rusk County, Texas for the quiet title action started in 2016. And it's been a process. It's been a process. And then we hit roadblocks. Okay. But so some battles take a long time. Some battles take a long time. I actually got so excited that I reached out to some of the families that I had contact with during the bankruptcy situation, Calvin and Anita. I reached out to them. I told them, you got to see this movie. If you are not fighting your battle, resume your battle. Several of them told me they were still fighting in whatever way they knew how and whatever way they could. I am hoping and praying that someone will come to our rescue, that someone will come to assist us so that we can continue our battles, so that we can find justice in an unjust world. Because we experience a lot of what this young lady experienced. not to the same degree, but a lot. Okay. She was 11 years old, y'all. Her parents ended up trusting her judgment because she was gifted. She was gifted. That's why it's so important that we raise our kids the way God instructs us to, and that we promote and train and build up the gifts that are in them. Okay. She heard from God. She faced evil. She suffered for it. She suffered for it, but she prevailed. Not by herself. She ended up having help, but she was the key person. She was the key person that God used, just like he used Moses, just like he used Joseph, just like he used Abraham, just like he used Jesus, just like he will use key people to do key things in significant times. Because of her wealth, because of her fame, she affected change for others. She helped others, not only her own family, but she helped others. She brought racial equality to the region. Okay. She found justice. I hope and I pray that we will eventually have the same outcome. And I hope and I pray that if you are involved in a battle, that this motivates you, that it gives you hope, that you will be stirred up, that you will not quit. A winner never quits and a quitter never wins. That's not Bible, but it's still true. Okay. I hope you don't quit. You gotta see Sarah's oil. Okay. And I hope one day I'll be telling my story and you'll be seeing the Parker heirs oil or the Parker something. I don't know what we'll call it, but I hope and I pray that we will find similar justice in an unjust world. Until next time, check out our books, check out my single, check out my daughter's coloring book. Go to our show page and find out what we're all about. Check out our ministry activities, Equipping the Saints Ministries. I'm hoping to do a thank you, Lord, for Thanksgiving next week. And I'll see you then. God bless.
Thank God I am free. I am free.
Thank you for being a part of I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be. I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones on TogiNet. Ladies, this is your chance to join us for stories of hope and healing from someone who's been there, someone who has fought back from the horrors of incest. Minister Diane's innocence was stolen from her in the land of alcoholism and mental illness, which led to her being emotionally, physically, and sexually abused by her parents. Yet, in spite of the trauma of her early years, she went on to become a successful wife, mother, registered nurse, and minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is a straight-up show to enlighten and to lighten your load. Don't let the weight of this world or things that happen to you control your life. For more information on Diane and her book, go to her show page here on TogiNet and email her directly. Then, get set to join us here again next Monday night for I'm Not the Woman I Used to Be, I'm Free with Minister Diane Jones. Monday nights at 10, 9 Central on TogiNet.com.